Yeah, you look at downtown Moorhead or downtown Fargo, it's just not the way it is.
Okay, good afternoon. I'd like to call the Tuesday, August 16th, 2022 meeting of the Moorhead Public Service Commission to order. Commissioner Heidi Duran will be participating in this meeting via interactive television from her address at 3625 22nd Avenue South, Moorhead, Minnesota 56560, which location is open and accessible to the public during the meeting. Moorhead Public Service Commission welcomes and encourages customer input on issues listed on the agenda or of general water, electric utility interest, time and commission permitting. Speakers are limited to 3-minute presentations. Customers wishing to address the commission regarding a specific agenda item will be afforded an opportunity during the discussion of that item. Customers wishing to speak on matters not listed on the agenda will be given the opportunity to do so under the heading Customers to be Heard and Recognitions. Each person requesting the opportunity to speak is asked to fill out a request to speak form. Those forms are located in the back of the room. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by McDougall, seconded by Hendrickson, to approve the meeting's agenda. Hendrickson.
Aye.
Duran.
Yes.
McDougall.
Yes.
And yes. Okay, the agenda's been approved. I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
So moved. Oh, go ahead. I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Hendrickson, seconded by Duran, to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Okay, Hendrickson.
Aye.
Duran.
Yes.
McDougall.
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Customers to be heard and recognitions, Mr. Schmidt.
Yeah, I have a couple recognitions tonight. Since January or early this year, we've enacted our policy on service award or anniversary milestones and culture awards. And we've provided, so far this year, we've got a few employees that have gotten milestone anniversaries. So Wendy Bakke, 5 years, Rose Funk, 5 years, Nick Duncan, 5 years, Paul Steffen, 10 years, Dale Rude, 10 years, and Jason Yonke, 25 years. For the Culture Awards for second quarter, Nick Duncan, Mike Wilmer, and Ryan Elvram. Nick is in our water crew, Mike is one of our substation electricians, and Ryan Elvram is our one of our GIS staff. So that's recognitions for tonight.
Mark, congratulations. Customers to be heard, I don't see any. And then we'll move on to old business. Any old business, folks? Seeing none, move on to reports. City Council, Mr. Hendrickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple things here. Moorhead City Council passed a resolution to approve an FM Rotary Foundation with the FM Rotary Foundation to construct a natural playground at Riverfront Park, 600 First Avenue North. Great project. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a destination, just good for Moorhead. It looks really, really good. And second thing, Council passed a resolution to urge Governor Walz and the Minnesota Legislature to enact the 2022 special session. There's a lot of infrastructure projects, not only with Moorhead, but throughout the state, and they have a surplus, so we just strongly worded message just to get them to that special session so they could pass those funds and pass anything they needed to. So that's all I have. Excuse me.
Thank you. General Managers or Public Service Commission. Do we have any reports from? No, I don't think so. The only thing I want to note is that at this time, we want to review the members of the Budget Working Group and the HR Working Group. We'll talk about the Budget Working Group at a later point in the agenda, but to become transparent, of course, want to let you know that the HR Committee is consisting of Mary Daly, Joel Paulson, and myself. General Manager's report.
Sure. Again, General Manager's report's in front of you. I'm not going to bore you to death with all the second quarter strategic plan updates, but I will quickly go over our two-page 6 strategic directions. Again, community, our team, water, electric, finance, and innovation, those were all put together by the employees last year as we went through our strategic planning process, and we'll look at second year accomplishments here in about a month or so. Again, there's some adjustments there under community. You can see some of them are still in process. We've got a couple completed and still gathering information or not started on one there as well too. Our team, we've got half of them done, half of them are still in the works. And water, again, it's construction season, so it's going to be a little bit till we finish out some of these projects, but you'll see some more of those in the third and fourth quarter getting finalized as well. On the electric side, again, roughly half are done, half aren't done. Again, still working through some of those as well too. Hopefully third and fourth quarter will help as well too. Again, on the finance side, annual budgets and annual review process will be starting tonight, which is third quarter. And then innovation, again, we got roughly 4 of those done and 3 left to do. And some of those are going to get finalized at the end of the year just because they're a long-term yearly process for those as well too. So again, not going to put a whole lot of detail into that. And then as you can tell, in the dashboards are basically the key performance indicators, and we have those within the packet as well too for your review. That is all I have. Actually, we're meeting with Senator Fischbach tomorrow, and then Senator Smith is looking at being in town sometime next week, so staff or myself will be at that meeting as well too. So that's all I have.
Wonderful. Any questions for Mr. Schmidt? Okay, entertain a motion to accept the General Manager's report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you for your report, Travis.
You're welcome.
Report on Bright Energy Solutions.
Sure. I'll have Taylor Holt. He's our electric distribution. He's helping out with Dennis's position while we finish up the org structure. And I'll let Taylor speak to that.
Evening,
Taylor?
Commissioners. One of the conservation programs that MPS has offered annually since 2014 is called Power Team Energy Wise. This is an elementary education program that is offered through Bright Energy Solutions. MPS and Bright Energy Solutions provide kits to 5th graders at the schools in town to try to teach them conservation. Through the program, students learn about renewable and non-renewable generation resources, how electricity is produced from these resources, forms of energy, energy efficiency and conservation, measuring energy consumption through an energy monitor, how to implement conservation measures at home, and many other industry-related topics. Through this program, students are engaged in classroom activities and at-home activities with their parents. The attached executive summary contains some information that shows that this program has worked and is continuing to make a difference. It continues to receive positive feedback and teach students the importance of energy conservation. Since this is a part of MPS's Conservation Improvement Program, we will continue to offer this to the public 5th grade classes once again in the 2022 and 2023 school year, and I'm working with Park Christian Schools to get them on board for the 2023-2024 school year. If anybody has any questions regarding this program, I'll try to answer them as best as I can at this time.
You answered my question about private schools. Is St. Joe's not a part of this?
That might be a mistake on my part. I'm not familiar with St. Joe's, so that's something I'll have to reach
over
out.
there over by Hornbacher's off of.
That would be perfect. It's not too late to sign up now, so I will be reaching out to them tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Taylor? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to accept the report on Bright Energy Solutions.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by McDougall, seconded by Hendrickson to accept the report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Taylor. Regional electric rates.
Sure. I'm going to have Taylor come back up again and provide a report on the regional electric rates. We do this on an annual basis. Again, good news this year, and I'm going to let Taylor speak to that. Go ahead, Taylor.
The report on regional electric rates shows how MPS's electric rates stack up against the other electric utilities in the area. The rate structures of each utility can vary widely, which make it somewhat difficult to compare. This report tries to simplify things or these calculations by calculating the bill of an average customer in each of our 4 rate classes. This calculation converts the rates to a dollars per month number for an average customer, which makes it much easier to compare the utilities on a similar playing field. The results of the analysis show that MPS offers the lowest rates in the area in each of the 4 rate classes. This once again shows the value that public power can provide to a community. One thing that should be noted is that this report is based on the electric rates for 2022, and that does not project future rates for 2023. Does anybody have any questions on the report?
I don't. Any questions? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to accept. Oh, I'm sorry, Chuck.
No, no problem. Just thanks, really good news. It's nice we're leading and rates are good, so good work.
This is the second year that we've had this happen where all 4 of our rate classes have been the lowest in the region. So this is a solid win for us again. So we'll continue to work on that, and we do know that the rates are going to probably go up because of some WAPA adjustments, but we'll see what we can do to continue to keep it down.
Good, yeah. It's fantastic. I mean, and as you said, second year in a row.
Second year in a row.
Good work. And I don't think we need to spread that news a little bit more because I don't think the people of Moorhead realize how significant that is. So, thanks.
Yeah, and we'll work with staff to maybe put something out on social media.
Share it. Be awesome. That'd be great. We could share it with everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that, when you say region, what does that encompass?
That encompasses the Fargo-Moorhead area.
Okay. Thank you.
Try not to call out specific names anymore on this report with public data, but yeah, it's both sides of the river.
Wonderful.
I don't mind you calling out Fargo, by the way. Go ahead.
All right, entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Hendrickson, seconded by Duran to accept the report on regional electric rates. Discussion? Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Item number 9, bid for circuit breakers.
Sure, I'm going to take this. Matt is on his way down to Sioux Falls for leadership training, so I'll handle this. You've got what was in the packet, and then we made some modifications and provided a handout in red line version as well. Again, this is for breakers for the DOE substation project or TAP substation project that we've been continuing to do bids on. Again, overall modifications based on engineers' estimates was in the original and the current one. And the reason for the modifications was there was a couple optional items, and we're asking you guys to approve the full price on those as we work with Southwest Power Pool and WAPA and Missouri River to find out if specific optional items are needed. There's a couple other things internally with spare parts and some insulation blankets on them as well too that we would be awarding as well tonight. So overall, pricing of course is above the original engineer's estimate, but definitely a lot more, or definitely lower than the current engineer's estimate that I provided via email to the commissioners after the last adjustment that we made. So again, recommendation is to approve the bid, and again, it's contingent upon final legal review by Mr. Bolger.
Questions? Heidi? No? Okay. Well, it's bad news, but it's,
Yep.
what can we do?
Yeah, definitely prices came in a little bit better than anticipated, but project that we have to continue on with since
Right.
it's a requirement.
Right. Okay. There's no questions. I'd entertain a motion to award the bid.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion by Duran, seconded by McDougal to award the bid for circuit breakers. Any discussion? Seeing none. Hendrickson,
Aye.
McDougal,
Yes.
Duran?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 10, electrical materials 2023.
Sure. Again, I'm going to have Taylor come up and speak to this. Been working really hard to try to get this thing locked in, but bids are always fun. So I'll let Taylor explain everything and what our plan is. Go ahead, Taylor.
I'm glad you guys saw a little bit of bright light in the last agenda item because there's not as much for this one. But this is our annual order for wire, transformers, and switches. These materials continue to be severely impacted by supply chain issues. This is apparent based on the bid amounts and the proposed lead times. Last year, it was decided that we would not award all of the materials and chose to draw down our inventory in anticipation that the supply chain issues would subside. Unfortunately, the pricing and lead times are evidence that the issues have only worsened in 1 year's time. This means that we have reached a point where we will need to pay these higher prices and wait longer to receive materials or risk not having materials available for electric distribution maintenance and construction. Two major points need to be made this year that are out of the ordinary. For single-phase transformers that we're in dire need of, we are recommending splitting the award between two different vendors. Half to the lowest bidder in order to save as much money as possible, and half to the bidder with the shortest lead time in order to get materials in a timely fashion. The second point that needs to be noted is that we plan to not award the three-phase transformers and overhead transformers and plan to rebid them once more. The quoted lead times for these transformers do not meet our needs. We plan to rebid them, hoping to obtain bids that meet our needs, and we're also investigating opportunities to obtain refurbished transformers. Behind the scenes, Mark is working to adjust our budgets and rate projections to be able to handle the drastic increase in pricing that we are seeing. At this point in time, I cannot predict whether the prices will ever go back down to previous levels or if they're here to stay for the long term. Thank you goes out to John also for helping legal counsel over the last week from a few states over on vacation. So he put in some extra time that really wasn't warranted. So thanks, John. With that, does anybody have any questions on the awarding of the 2023 electrical materials?
Hendrickson.
Thank you. Not really a question, just a comment. We have to do what we have to do. And this hurts a little bit, but you know, this is a sign of the times, and I hope the items do go down, but you know, we just can't wait around. So I feel for you guys trying to get this together, but you know, it is what it is. So just wanted to throw that in.
Right. Any comment?
So we'll be, based on the award of the bid, Taylor, we'll be receiving transformers. We've got transformers already on order that are coming in June of roughly 23.
Yep.
And this would put some in 24, all in 24, and then some in 25, I guess, just to...
The way the lead times were quoted was that we would be receiving some transformers in 2023 and then other transformers in 2025. I'm not overly optimistic that the lead times are actually going to be met, so there's a possibility we'll have a ladder kind of set up where we'll be receiving transformers in 2023 based on last year's order, 2024 based on this year's order, and 2025 based on this year's order. And the budgets will be reflected upon those receiving dates because we don't pay for them until we actually receive them.
Well, thank you. I thank everybody involved because it's much harder to sharpen your pencils and try to figure out than just to have a simple bid opening that we'd all like to be able to award those bids. So I appreciate the extra work that takes.
Yeah, and operationally, we're working to conserve transformers and new developments. So instead of, like we would typically do, is just put all the transformers in and wait for them to build out, we're only putting them in when there's a building permit in place to keep them in inventory as long as possible until we need to put them on the system. So we are looking at other options and avenues to minimize and keep what we have on inventory until the long term. So if you guys got a crystal ball, I'd like it. Oh, Taylor's got one
Could
more
I
comment.
also add something to what Travis was saying about not installing transformers at all future locations? At this point in time, if someone does buy up a lot and needs service where a transformer isn't, we still are installing them. So we're not at the point where we're halting any new construction or buildings.
We are talking with city staff as well too, just so that they're aware of, the lead times and the concerns, and trying to work out a game plan for some of that stuff as well going forward, so.
And I appreciate that too, Travis, just keeping constant communication with the city. That's a good thing. Sorry, I meant to ask for.
That's fine.
Okay.
We're having a discussion, so that's good. Any other points that we want to bring up, or any questions we have for Taylor? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to award the bids.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion by Hendrickson, seconded by McDougal, to award the bids for 2023 electric materials. McDougal,
Yes.
Hendrickson,
Yes.
Duran.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item number 11, preliminary 2023 budget timetable, and I'll hand it over to you, Mr. Schmidt.
Sure. Again, this is, we're going to start that lovely process of budgets and financing and all the fun stuff and rate hearings that we got to deal with. So Mark Moreland does a fantastic job with this every year, so I'm going to let him run the show and take all the glory for it. or lickings.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Based on what we just talked about.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's the consequences of that.
Yes, well, good evening, and Commission. Just have some update on the budget process. The 2023 budget process so far, I've been involved in budgeting with Moorhead Public Service for 11 years now. This is definitely the most challenging environment we've been trying to create this budget in, as we've seen with the unforeseen explosion in prices, deliveries, lead times, everything like that. So our goal here as we generate this budget is to, try and not compound and increase the inflation that everybody's seeing, and we're going to try and keep our rates as low as possible. We've got some good things going for us in that we do have excellent reserves right now. All of our financial strength indicators are very, very strong, so we do have that to lean upon. But as we've been going through our preliminary information, we're seeing increases with WAPA, which is one of our purchase power providers. We've had increases in our chemical costs over the last couple of months due to, unforeseen issues with the water quality. So we're trying to incorporate all of that into our budget. So within this agenda item, what we're looking for first is to identify the working group for the 2023 budget, and then just to lay out the timeline and our expectations as we go over the next 3 or 4 months until the final approval in December, after we've worked through all of the information. So at this time, I'd open up for questions and comments, and then as you want to discuss and set up the working group.
Right. Any questions? Okay, in consultation with Travis, he reached out to Chuck, Heidi, and Sebastian to be a part of the budget working group. And so I guess unless there's a change of heart, that's the group that we'll go with and you'll be working with, Mark?
That sounds great. I'm looking
Super.
forward to that.
Is there any other things that you need to tell us, or?
At this time, we could review the timeline, which is on page 4 of the item itself, and just go through the upcoming items. There's 7 key points that will be occurring over the next 3 months. And the first is obviously this one, to set the budget process, to create the ad hoc work group, and then also define when the rate hearing will occur and the final approval of the budgets. So our goal right now is we've identified the working group. So the next few steps would be for the working group to meet with staff and managers as we compile the information we need to present an overall budget for both the electric and water divisions. I anticipate those meetings would occur in early October, maybe late September if we can, just to get things started, because we've had to move up some of our internal meetings just based on the issues we're seeing. So our internal managers have already started meeting. Usually we met in early September. We've actually started this week. We had meetings on Monday and more scheduled for tomorrow. So we're definitely getting into this because of the issues that we're experiencing. In early November, we'd review an update after we've had a chance to meet with the working group. Mid-November, we would review the budget again. Rate hearings would occur in October. I missed that, so I apologize for that. But on October 18, we'd do the rate hearings for both the electric and water. In addition, as part of this, we will be getting a water rate study from MRAS, which is going to be incorporated into this overall budget process. It was an item that was missed when the item was written up, so I want to just remind everybody that we do have a water rate study coming from MRAS that will present it as part of this. They'll help set the rates for 2023. You know, they're aware that we're looking at 0 to 4, 0 to 5% just based on what we've currently experiencing. So they'll be working with us as we provide them more information to fine tune those rates, to make sure that each customer class is paying the appropriate and fair share of their costs. December 6th, we'll do another review and just fine tune it, listen to see if there's any feedback from customers. Obviously, that's a key component as to what we're doing, is just to get some feedback. So we want to encourage as many people as possible that have questions or concerns to attend the rate hearing, and then also pay attention or look at the website and review the documentation that we add as this process moves forward. And the final goal on December 20th meeting, which is tentatively scheduled, is to approve the 2023 budget and rates so that they can be implemented and ready to start on January 1 of 2023. So that's all I have, and I'm open to any questions you may have or comments.
Mark? Any questions?
Mark, what are you projecting on the water and electric rates, just to be a little bit more specific?
Sure. At this point within the write-up, we've indicated that electric rates we're looking at between 0 and 4%. We're hoping we can keep it a little bit lower than that. Again, that is driven primarily by the WAPA rate increase. They're looking to increase their rates by 16%, which is pretty significant. However, they only represent about 30% of our total purchase power needs. So that 16% might equate to like a 2% electric rate to cover those. The rest may be just depending on what we find out as we go through more material bids and try and build up our inventory to be prepared for 2023 and 2024. We may need to add some of that rate increase, or add to that rate increase to be ready for those costs. On the plus side, MRAS has indicated that they don't see anything increasing for the next couple of years. They're looking pretty stable at this type. The only thing we do see within that is our transmission costs increasing some, but again, that's a small overall component of our purchase power costs. So we anticipate that might be a couple $100,000 increase in 2023. And that's consistent with the previous couple of years. We've been able to absorb those within our rates and haven't had to increase rates. As we've mentioned earlier, we do have very, very competitive electric rates. On the water side, we're looking at between 0 and 5 on the upper end. We're hoping to come in less than that. We again need to review and see how our pricing comes in for the projects that are planned, see how chemical costs come out throughout the rest of the year. Mark has indicated in the last couple of meetings that he's seen a return to a somewhat normal level of river water quality. But again, we've seen over the last couple of years it can be erratic, so we're hoping that we're back to something we're more used to, but we'll have to see. But our costs this year, due to the supply chain issues, have gone up significantly. So we want to make sure we're ready to absorb those within our future rates. So again, that's looking between 0 and 5%.
You move? No? Yeah?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Thank you, Madam Chair. With MRES, what's their history? I don't know if Travis, of rate hikes. I can't remember offhand. They've usually been pretty low, but do you have a spike this year, or is it?
Nope. So WAPA has actually been fairly stable. I think about 2017 we saw a rate decrease, but that was the drought adder piece of it. And actually, that's a majority of what WAPA is going to see for an increase this year, is in that drought adder. And that can be on for a couple of years and off. The last time it was probably 2008 is when it went on, and it came off in 2017. So roughly 10 years before it came off, because they were able to pay off their market purchases that they had to do because of the river levels in the dams. So from Missouri River's perspective or side of things, last year they had a rate decrease, and before that they were fairly stable after that as well too. Unfortunately, the rate decrease that they provided last year wasn't large enough to warrant a rate decrease on the MPS side of things as well too. Just because we also knew that WAPA was looking at doing their rate hearing and rate process as well, so we kind of held off, knowing that what went down last year might go up this year, and just kind of held for 1 year on that to see what the outcome was. And then we also had a couple of refunds that we received from Missouri River, but that was due to legal battles that we had some wins on as well too. So overall, Missouri River's been fairly stable. I know they transitioned to a different rate structure, and then again, they are going to transition again this fall to time, or next winter to time of use as well too, from the wholesale side of things. So that'll play a little bit of a factor in it too, but they've been fairly stable. Mark, I don't know if you got anything to
I would
add to
agree. Like Travis indicated, we haven't had to do a rate increase for a number of years. I think we're on year 5 or 6 because rates have remained relatively stable, and MRES has done a couple of rate decreases and been able to be very beneficial in terms of their rates to us.
Like any other budget, there's going to be corrections.
To be honest with you, Missouri River is doing really well. I mean, you see a lot of the other joint action agencies like Missouri River, and you're seeing rate increases all over the place, and where we're staying stable or actually having some decreases, which is excellent for us. So the hard work that Missouri River staff does is helping us out, and we're benefiting from that too. So long-term hedges and long-term planning and working through those priorities are important as well too.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you both.
We've exhausted our questions, Mark.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting with the working group, get things started, and then get some information back to the commission as a whole.
Great. It will be an interesting process.
That it will. It's definitely, like I said, the first time in 10 years, relatively, it's looking shaky, but we'll get through it.
Yep. Okay, great. And this item item doesn't have any action, I don't believe, right?
I think
Travis, you'd agree?
let's see where, I gotta find the title page here. I think you just have to approve it, or just accept it, or, yeah.
Okay,
I would just accept it, because then we can lock in the rate hearing date, we lock in the working group, and start the process.
okay. So we'll go ahead and accept the report, or I guess report that Mark just gave us, and in the process of also accepting the appointment of the budget working group. So I'd entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Hendrickson, seconded by Durand, to accept the reports, hearing rate dates, and budget timetable. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Great, thank you. There's no closed meeting today. And upcoming meetings, it doesn't have the August 30th on here.
Nope, it doesn't. So August 30th will be a special meeting, just a closed session meeting for that date, so.
Right, yep. But we have a notice out, so we have to,
Correct.
right.
Yep.
Do we know anything about September 6th yet?
As of right now, we are not planning to have that meeting, just because we're having the meeting on the 30th,
Right,
and the 6th is right after Labor Day, so
Labor
it'll
Day,
be
right.
there's not anything really on the agenda that needs to have. That can't wait till the next meeting, so.
well, thanks, I appreciate it. It's good for scheduling. If we know a little bit ahead of time what's coming down. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second?
I have a motion to adjourn by Hendrickson, seconded by McDougall. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming. Have a great rest of your day.